with the caucus meeting. We have a presentation from the County Executive's Finance Department, Phil Montgomery.
Thank you, Madam President. Phil Montgomery from the Executive Shapiro's Department of Finance and Budget. Mr. Potter just handed out the updated financial forecast. It's been a little bit since we've come before council to present the financial update as we moved from the transition from Banner to Munis, and we're able to reconcile everything and tie it all out. I'm happy to continue to report to council that everything balances to the penny between the systems, and that is the case through these 2022 financials. So the first sheet I would point council to is the 2022 year-to-date variance. These are the final numbers for 2022. And so I'll just run through these. You can see there are the footnotes at the bottom, but essentially we looked at the 2021 actuals, so that is the left-hand column of numbers. The certificate or appropriation, that was our first initial estimate of revenues for the entire year. And then as council is aware, we update that forecast every month. We do a one-year forecast, which is what's in front of you, and then we do the five-year forecast, which I'm going to talk about when I go over the March quarter one 2023 numbers. So that's the certificate appropriation. That's the original revenue estimate, and on the expenditure side, that is the original operating budget that was approved by council. So we go through and we compare that against the 2022 actuals, so the third column of numbers on the sheet. So on the revenue side, we finished 2021 at $131 million. As we looked at what that certificate and the estimated revenue looks like when we set the 2022 budget, we set that estimate to be $128 million, and we finished the year at $140 million, so $12 million over the original revenue estimate. So going through the numbers here, property taxes ended up right about where we expected them to be. The sales tax number, as everyone is aware, inflation is still at an all-time high with current times, and so that is trending up in sales tax numbers. We have not seen the decline. As we look at the 2023 forecast, five-year forecast, you will see that I've included some slowdown. We still believe that the other shoe will drop at some point in time, so we continue to estimate that in our forecast on the revenue side. But we did end up $5.5 million above the estimate for sales tax. Charges for services, you can see the footnote number 2. There was a myriad of different reasons that we came in underestimate on that, mostly because of still the unwinding of effects of COVID. So as the courts and departments open back up, we're starting to see that slow down and ended the year about $345,000 below the estimate. And then the all other revenue, the $3.1 million over, again, the footnote explains local government tax was actually up a little bit, as was the reimbursements for the public defender. So in the last biennium budget, they were trying to keep those reimbursements at near 100%. And as we've moved through that 2-year biennium, they're starting to run out of money because they increased the amount of reimbursements for the attorneys, which was well needed anyways. So that we've factored for that in terms of what that looks like, but the reimbursement rate was up over the estimate. We are bringing that back down a little bit because we're concerned about what the legislature is going to include in the budget for the defensive advantage. Ms. Rogers?
Long story.
Okay.
I'll tell you later. What are we currently paying? What were we paying when we raised that? I've forgotten.
I think we took it up to $75 an hour.
And that's what the state is talking about, setting it at 75, so that some of those counties, attorneys are really putting it to other counties.
Yeah, and we just need them to keep that reimbursement rate to offset that increased cost. Like, we know it was needed across the state, but we need to make sure that funding stays there.
We've been doing a lot of talking to them and telling them they need to keep that.
Good. We appreciate that. Looking at the expenditure side, the bullet point number 4, so salaries and benefits. This one's looks a little misleading, and misleading is probably the wrong word, but when we look at what we've done with CARES and ARPA funding, we were able to use revenue replacement dollars and move salary off of the general fund, which has allowed for us to do all of these transfers out. So if you look at the footnote number 7 under all other on the expense, we were over budget by $35 million. $28 million of that was transfers out. And of that, we're normally, like pre-COVID, the efforts we've been able to do with sales tax and some of the revenue replacement, we're normally around 6 million in transfers out. So being at 28, 20 million of that is this transfer of general fund salaries to ARPA funds. And so you can see the breakout at the very bottom of the page of where those dollars went, what different projects we transferred capital dollars to. As we look at so let me finish that expenditure piece. So the actual expenditures to 2021 was 134 million. The operating budget we presented in council passed is 127 million, and we ended up over at 141.7 million, which was almost 15 million over estimate. Again, salaries and benefits is in there because of that reallocation of the dollars. The professional services, that is the reimbursement of the defense of indigents, and then contract services was the increase to the Oriana House contract. And you're also going to see that carry forward into 2023. So looking at that overall, we ended up dipping into the surplus. So our revenue estimate was 12 million over. Our expenses were 14.5 million over as well. So that's the kind of the final picture of what 22 ended up looking like. We, again, looking at the transfers at the bottom, and as we look at 2023, actually look at the 5-year forecast going for 23 through 2025, because of some of these revenue replacement opportunities and where we have our estimates, we're going to be able to, we expect to be able to increase that transfers out from, again, our normal of about 6 million to 8.5 1 year in 2025 and 8 in 2026. So those are going to help fund these big capital projects we've undertaken in the last 2 years. Between broadband, the refresh of this building, what's going on at the jail, we're looking at some things out on Talmadge Avenue. So all of these capital projects are things we've never been able to do before because that revenue wasn't there. And we foresee having enough to continue to make these transfers into the capital projects account. So I'll pause there for a moment on 22 if there are any specific questions on the final numbers for 2022 before I go into the 23. Yep.
I just have a question to follow up on Gloria's. When will we know whether we're going to get whatever reimbursement for indigent defense?
The biennium's due in June 30. Yeah. So we should know. I think they normally bring it in like June 29th, but so it'll be at the very end of June.
It just passed the House and went to the Senate last week, so.
And the House's version has it in there. It's just making sure it stays there through reconciliation. So.
And would you like to say the total of all the indigent funding?
Wouldn't hurt my feelings. But
We'd like to see it restored to 100%.
Yeah.
Obviously. That would be
But the way they play games with it,
And we're still working through, we were picked as a pilot county for the Ohio Public Defenders to do the attorney fee reimbursements online and have it processed through the state instead of being done locally. One of these days I'll take some pictures and show council the boxes and boxes of paper fee applications that my team processes on a daily basis to reimburse all of these fees. And the one thing that is a kicker right now is if the attorneys, we have a 90-day window from the dissolution of the case. Is that the right legal word? I don't even play an attorney on TV. So we have 90 days after that for the attorneys to turn those applications in, for the judge to sign off on them, and for us to process them from reimbursement, which then goes to the state for that anywhere from 80 to 100% reimbursement. If the judge, if it gets held up in the process somewhere, that's 100% general fund. It is not eligible for reimbursement after 90 days. So we're trying to improve that process to make it more efficient, so that way more of these fee applications are in fact reimbursable and not getting bogged up by process or just the fact of shuffling paper around to make it happen. So we are working on that actively. We're waiting for the state public defender's office to roll us out, but we were picked to be a pilot county. We've tested it. The communication's gone out to the attorneys. We just need to pull the trigger on that.
Well, we're in a position to do that. We are waiting on the State Public Defender's Office to do that. And so that you're aware, the process of the reams of paper Phil is talking about, that's the requirement of the Public Defender's Office. That is not something that we choose to do. We obviously would like to see an automated program making it easier for attorneys to get reimbursed as quickly as possible. So This is sort of being driven by the State Public Defender's Office, but we certainly agree the state mandate should be 100% state funded, if not run by the state.
And the one attorney I know is pleased with the way payments being received, so we're doing something right. Thank you.
And if council hears from any of the attorneys that are part of the process, please let them know, with our new software, Munis, there is a vendor self-service portal where they should have gotten a letter from us that told them what their vendor number was in our system, and they can go in there and put in their bank information and get electronic payments instead of waiting for paper checks. So that is a new part of the process that we are rolling out. Anywhere we can be more efficient and trying to move those more quickly through the system is what we're trying to do. So if you have any questions or hear any questions on that, steer them towards me, and we'll get them set up in the system and get them on electronic payments. That's a pretty easy process.
So
So.
Phil, I don't know if you said it, but on the professional contracts, they're nearly 1.5. What is that?
The professional services, that is the expense of the defensive indigents. So
Okay.
taking that attorney fee up to $75. That's the primary driver there. And then the contract services, that one was the increase to the Oriana House contract at the end of last year. Anything else on 2022? And I'll try to power through 23 quickly. So the next set of reports for you is the March 2023 update. So starting on page 1, this is the monthly general fund revenue report that we report to the executive on a monthly basis, and other leaders, and the council president gets a copy of this, so these will be coming out monthly. But going through here, again, county sales tax continues to outperform. So March over March, you can see is almost 5% increase, as is the year-to-date cumulative for sales tax. We're holding strong at 5%. Property transfer tax, while it's up a little bit for the month of March, you can see it's down 15.5% cumulative through the first quarter. That was to be expected as house sales slow down. Casino tax is up just a smidge. Going down to the last section, again, the defensive indigents, so that reimbursement rate is up because of the increase and a little bit of timing. Local government taxes is up 5.3% as well. Flipping over to page 2, on charges for services. So a couple of things to note here. The clerk of court fees has ticked back up almost 5%. The probate court fees are up 21 year to date, 42 for the month. And then recorder fees are down 42%, and that's pretty much driven by the refinancing of mortgages. That has really slowed down with where the rates are. So most of the recorder fees, that really jumped up in 21 and 22 as all of the refinances would happen. So that the market slowed down, but refinances have really slowed down. The sheriff fees up almost 15% for the year. And then on page 3, this is the big one, investment income. So when we set the 2023 forecast for revenue, the rates were still down near zero, but now they're not because of all of the work that the Fed has done to increase those rates. So you can see on here that the original certificate for investment income was $3.5 million for the entire year, and through March, we're already at 2.7. So that $3.5 million estimate now sits at almost $11 million in what we expect to earn on our investment income. So that is a very good, very important number for us. We're glad to see that back up. And then overall for revenue, the March over March is 47%, and year to date, we're at almost 5% increase in revenue from 22 to 23. The next page, page 4, this is the 1 year forecast, so similar to the one I just went over for 2022. This is through the first quarter of 23. You can see on there the same kind of layout under revenues. So we have what the 22 actuals ended up being, the 140 million. The original estimate on revenue was 132.5 million. And right now the forecast as of the end of March is having us sit right around 141.5 million. So we're almost 9 million over the estimate. So the 23 certificate was set in July based on the property tax and tax estimates back then. And as of right now, we are comfortable saying we're going to be almost $9 million over that original estimate. On the expense side, we ended 2022 again at 141.7 million. The original estimate was 134 million, came in at 141.3. Our current forecast has that original budget that we proposed to council on the expense side, we're right now thinking we're going to be about $7 million below that. Or I'm sorry, $7 million above that, read that backwards. And that is primarily driven again by the defensive indigent expenses. Orienta House, why there was a $500,000 increase last year. It's almost a $1.9 million increase that was passed by council for 2023. So that is the main driver of those two numbers. And then on the all other expenditure, footnote number 5, we have increased that $6 million transfer out to $8 million, and we're looking at some relief continued with the BCMH dollars, and our other main expense that really spiked up this year was the general liability insurance. You can see that increased nearly $300,000 from last year. So overall, we think that we're going to be to the good of just below $300,000 in terms of the net between the revenue and expense for 2023. Brian and I continue to look at this. I will update it every month, and we make adjustments based on what's in the wind at the time. So this is what we know as of today. I will, again, we present, after we get through April, we present this to the executive and to the president of council on a monthly basis, so we'll do that for the rest of this year. Anybody from council is welcome to attend those monthly revenue meetings, but I will be back in front of council to present this in a couple months once we get through probably June. And then the last page is the 5-year forecast. So looking at where we think things are going to land as of today. So we see this has been updated for the 2022 actuals. The 2023 forecast through March 30 is included. And as we look through 24 through 27, the area I'll point council to is kind of middle to lower part of the page where it talks about the projected revenues over under expenditures. So you can see for 2023 through 26, we're to the good, and we show things dipping back down in 27. So we're looking through what those changes look like. And then the next line on here is where we sit with the unencumbered fund balance each year as we roll through. So we start 2023 at $8.5 million in unencumbered cash, and that by 2027 we're only $40,000 lower, still at about $8.5 million. So this forecast is here. You can see in the assumptions for revenue, property conveyance, we show a 23% decline in 2023, 5% declines in 24 and 25, and then we show some return to growth in 26 and 27. Sales tax continues to show minimal growth at 1.5% this year and 1% for the rest of it. Property tax, we're showing 11.5% growth in 2024 as the sexennial or triennial is coming up. So we're going to show some increases in property taxes there. Again, indigent defense, just to be conservative on this, we lowered the reimbursement rate in the assumptions to 80%, not knowing what the legislature would do. Once the biennium budget's passed, I will update that assumption when we can know what that is. And then I just want to remind council that all of this on the revenue side takes into account nothing for one-time revenue. So what we look at in terms of the revenue that's on here, it does not include the ARPA that we can do, if we do revenue replacement and move salaries and benefits. And the expenditure side too includes 100% of salary and benefits until we make that move. So there's no one-time revenue factored into this forecast. On the expenditure side, we are based on the FOP collective bargaining agreement. We have it factored in a 3.5% general wage increase in 24, a 3% increase in 25, and then taking it back down to our normal 2.5% in 26 and 27. Healthcare premiums, we estimate a 5% increase over the course of the forecast. Board of Elections, we have to increase the expenditures in presidential years, so we factored that in for 2024, and then we lower it back down for the municipal years and then back up for the statewide in 26. And then all of the other non-discretionary expenditures we continue to maintain at a 2 to 3% growth rate annually. So with that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
Thank you, Madam President. Phil, I'd like to touch on that Board of Elections for a moment. If there is an August election, and I don't know that that is certain yet, if the legislature has passed that yet, they have not yet, but it looks like it's probably going to. Did I hear correctly that it's going to, how much is it going to cost the Summit County Board of Elections to have that election that it would not otherwise cost?
I believe Brian's estimate was 700,000?
So you're going to come back, they're going to come back to council for an increase in the Board of Elections budget if this goes through,
There's
sure,
a-
folks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
So I suggest everybody call their state representatives and try to put a stop to this. This is ridiculous. 88 counties in the state of Ohio, and $700,000 in Summit County. You can imagine what it would cost statewide to do this, which, pardon me?
20 million, give or take.
$20 million, that's the estimate, Liz?
Yes.
And, which I believe is going to go down in flames, just like when about 10 years ago they tried to diminish union support, and it went down in flames, and this is going to go down in flames too, and it's going to be a gigantic waste of money, and everybody should call their state legislators and tell them to put a stop to this.
Sir?
Thanks, Madam President.
You're welcome, sir.
I want to ask you a question. Any money to help the counties with this if it were to pass from the state? It's all on us.
I can answer that, sorry. It's pending. There's two bills, SBJ 2 and HJR 1. One has an appropriation in the special election bill and one does not. So to be determined. The idea would probably have to figure it out in conference.
Yeah, the legislature is the only one that can make that decision.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Any other questions for members of council? Okay, hearing none, we're going to go right into our caucus. So we have 4 motions and 4 first reading passage requests. We're going to move right to the first read passage request, 2023-118. And Mr. Howland is here to address council.
Hello, everyone. Bill Holland from the Sheriff's Office. A little feedback there. This is for an employee to replace the current person that does our payroll is leaving. She's actually leaving on May 12th. This person would start on May 15th, so not optimal, but we only had 1 application. The person that we've selected for the position is someone who used to work for us, so she's very familiar with all of our systems and the payroll system. As well as she did purchasing in the past, so she'd be pretty valuable. She is a current county employee, so that's why we're bringing her in basically where she's at now. It'd be hard to get her back and give her a pay cut, so be happy to answer any questions about her.
So, Mr. Howland, what is the midpoint amount?
$29.17.
Thank you. Any questions from members of council? Are you good with that?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Howland.
Yep, have a good night.
2023-119, we have Brian Hardick here to address council. He's going to address council also on 2023-120.
Yeah, these 2 resolutions are very similar. They're both for the AFSCME bargaining units for the engineer. The first one is for the service and maintenance unit. Again, this is the 3rd year of that contract, 3rd year of 3. We're looking for the 4% general wage increase following the FOP fact-finding report earlier this year. I know Phil mentioned that. And then we will be going back to bargaining next year for another 3-year contract. Take any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from members of council? You good with that, Councilwoman Hardick?
Yes,
Okay.
Right. 2028.
Okay, move on to the next one. Clerical and technical unit. This is the smaller of the 2 units. Again, same thing. We're looking for the 4% general wage increase pursuant to the FOP fact-finding report. That's the 3rd year of 3 in the contract. We'll be back next year negotiating a new one. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mr. Hardick. Any questions from members of council? You good with it, Councilwoman Hardick?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hardick. And finally, we have 2023-121. Mr. Montgomery to address council.
Thank you, Madam President. Phil Montgomery from Executive Shapiro's Department of Finance and Budget. We have before you the routine appropriation legislation for council. Short one today. So the first one is for the Department of Administrative Services for a change order and a new capital expenditure over at the jail. A grant award for the medical examiner's office. The next one for the engineer, they received an insurance payment reimbursement for an expense that was incurred last year, so in order to be able to spend those dollars, it needs to be reappropriated. Flipping the page, DR Court, the VAWA grant is in here, and then sanitary sewer services, there are two pieces. The first one is to appropriate funds for an OWDA loan, and then the last one is for the GBC design that was previously approved by council by resolution number 78. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Any questions from members of council? Hearing none, you're good. Councilman Donofrio? Thank you. Okay, we have, again, 4 motions. We have 4 first read passage requests. There are no late filings. Routine legislation on page 6 through 7. No second or third readings. We'll now rise to the pledge led by Councilwoman Christine Hyam, followed by a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Schmidt?
Here.
Ms. Hyam?
Here.
Mr. Donofrio? Here. Mr. DeVitas? Here. Ms. Dickinson? Here. Ms. Sims?
Here.
Mr. Wilhite?
Here.
Mrs. Darrow? Here. Mrs. Rogers? Here. Mrs. McKinney?
Here.
Ms. Walters?
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 21st?
So
2020. I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 24th, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Motions for council. M025-2023, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of Kathy Rufiner, Dr. Jennifer Savitsky, and Tamika Rose to the Child Fatality Review Board.
Okay. Got a motion from Councilwoman Gloria Rogers on M025, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M026-2023, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of Dennis Tubbs to the Akron Summit Community Action Board of Trustees.
I have a motion from Councilman Wilhite on M026, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M027-2023, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of Dennis Reagans to the Special Operations Response Team, SORT.
Okay, motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Liz Walters to approve M027, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
M028-2023, a motion of council confirming the reappointment of John Frola Jr. to the Akron Summit County Public Library Board.
So moved.
I have a motion by Councilman Schmidt on M028, 2023. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
First readings, 2023-118, a resolution approving a higher than midpoint salary for a new hire for a classified non-bargaining position based upon work experience and pay equity for the sheriff emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-118.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-118. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-119, a resolution approving the 2023 wage reopener as agreed between the County of Summit engineer and Local 1032 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO Service and Maintenance Unit, for the third year of the parties' collective bargaining agreement, April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024, for the executive and the engineer. Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-119.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-119. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-120, a resolution approving the 2023 wage reopener as agreed between the County of Summit, Summit County Engineer, and Local 1032 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO Clerical and Technical Unit, for the third year of the parties' collective bargaining agreement, April 1st, 2023 through March 31st, 2024, for the executive and the engineer. Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-120.
Have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-120. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-121, a resolution appropriating funds in order to meet projected expenditures for the balance of 2023 as set forth in Exhibit A for the Executive's Department of Finance and Budget. Emergency.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-121.
We have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 2023-121. On the motion on the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
2023-122, a resolution approving the salary adjustment for classified non-bargaining employee Ebony Richmond Walker for the engineer. Emergency. 2023-123, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Razor Lake Materials and Services Incorporated for the cleaning, videotaping, and mapping of storm sewers in an amount not to exceed $226,980 for the engineer. Emergency. 2023-124, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a purchase contract with Henderson Products Incorporated at Sourcewell pricing for 2 dump beds and plow frames in the total amount not to exceed $134,086 for the engineer. Emergency. 2023-125, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Melway Paving Company Incorporated for the 2023 Summit County 422 surfacing program in an amount not to exceed $708,444.85 for the engineer. Emergency. 2023-126, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Melway Paving Company Incorporated for the 2023 Summit County 405 resurfacing program in an amount not to exceed $2,197,381.95 for the engineer. Emergency. 2023-127, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a professional service contract for construction management services with Apostolos Group, DBA Tamarios, for the Ohio Building HVAC and Finishes Upgrade Project, located in the City of Akron and Council District 5 for an amount not to exceed $705,670 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plants. Emergency. 2023-128, a resolution authorizing the executive to advertise for bids for a 5-year full maintenance service agreement for elevator maintenance at 6 county buildings located in the cities of Cuyahoga Falls and Akron and Council Districts 2 and 4 for an estimated total cost not to exceed $160,000 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plants Division. Emergency. 2023-129, a resolution declaring repairs at the jail located in the City of Akron in Council District 4 an emergency pursuant to Section 177.0783 of the Codified Ordinances of the County of Summit, and confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Fody Contracting for the Summit County Jail Shower Renovations Project in an amount not to exceed $1,931,601.85 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plants. Emergency. 2023-130, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a construction contract with Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP at state term pricing for upgrades to the fire alarm system at the jail in an amount not to exceed $210,520.33 for the Executive's Department of Administrative Services, Physical Plants. Emergency. 2023-131, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of Change Order Number 1 to the professional service contract with Child Guidance and Family Solutions for Toddlers and Preschoolers Succeeding Program Services, TAPS, from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, in an amount not to exceed $100,000 for a cumulative increase of 66.67%, for a total amount not to exceed $250,000 for the Executive Department of Jobs and Family Services, Emergency. 2023-132, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of Change Order Number 1 to a professional service contract with Family Promise of Summit County for homeless and prevention services from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, in an amount not to exceed $43,000 for a cumulative increase of 66.15%, for a total amount not to exceed $108,000 for the Executive Department of Jobs and Family Services, Emergency. 2023-133, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control of a renewal of agreements, second and final, between certain providers and the Executive's Department of Jobs and Family Services and the Summit and Medina Workforce Area Council of Governments to provide in-school and out-of-school youth employment and educational services under the Comprehensive Case Management and Employment Program for the period July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. And a total amount not to exceed $2,172,005.49 for the Executive's Department of Jobs and Family Services, Emergency. 2023-134, a resolution confirming the award by the Board of Control, subject to the approval of the Information Technology Board, of a purchase contract with Dell Marketing LP as state term pricing for the purchase of perpetual software licenses through Microsoft Select Plus for the term of May 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, in an amount not to exceed $166,960.61 for the Office of Information Technology, Emergency. 2023-135, a resolution declaring it necessary to submit to the electors of the County of Summit the question of the replacement of an existing tax levy for the programs and services of the Summit County Developmental Disabilities Board, the SCDDB, and requesting the county fiscal officer to certify to the taxing authority and the total current tax valuation of the county and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a specified number of mills for the purpose of providing community developmental disability programs and services pursuant to Chapter 5126 of the Revised Code for the benefit of children and adults for the SCDDB emergency.
I have a motion to suspend the rules and adopt the routine legislation found on pages 6 through 7. On the suspension, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And on the adoption, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Just before we cut out here, I just want to remind all you bikers and hikers that the Bike and Hike is coming up. I see you, John Donofrio. I know you're going to be in it. You know what I mean? I know. I saw your bike parked out front, so I know you. And so just encouraging you all. We always have a good time, don't we, Greta? And so we'd love to have a couple of you even to serve as one of the leaders either on the bike or the hike. We just love to see that. So in the interim, in your boxes, if you check, there's this beautiful magnet for your refrigerator. And your car, matter of fact, your car, if you put 2 on there, it looks really large. So just want to encourage.
And Summit Lake is gorgeous. So
Yes.
the route is amazing. And Backer is beautiful. Just cleaned up that whole area this weekend. So as part of that team, Army volunteers cleaned it up. So it's beautiful for the hike.
Yeah, it's always a great lunch, always a great time. You don't really want to miss this. So we need volunteers, yes. From the beginning to the end. Any more? Registration ends May 5th, but I know someone who can get you in just in case. Yeah. So, and also just want to remind everybody tomorrow is Election Day to make sure you get out and vote. Tonight, I would encourage people who are listening to some of the voting locations have changed. Please look your location up so that you'll be ready to hit the streets at 6:30 a.m. Anything else to come before the council? Hearing none, we are now adjourned. Thank you.